The docking bay of the Silver Spire gleamed with polished alloy and soft blue light, every surface screaming elegance. It was the Concord's pride, an interstellar cruiser built for diplomacy, not war. Alien banners draped the walls, guards stood rigid in ceremonial armor, and the air carried the faint scent of engineered flora meant to soothe visiting dignitaries. Then the humans stepped in. Commander Rylan Cross led the squad, 6 figures in full exosuits, helmets sealed tight, visors blacked out. Their boots clanged against the pristine deck, heavy and deliberate, out of place among the delicate aesthetic of alien grace. The entire bay seemed to still. Conversations faltered. Dozens of alien eyes turned, some curious, most disapproving. Captain Varix, towering in silver robes, glided forward. His crystalline skin refracted the bay lights into sharp prisms, his posture rigid with contempt. "Commander Cross," he said, his voice carrying the brittle edge of command. "Explain yourself." Rylan's voice filtered through the suit speakers, flat and calm. "My people follow a simple rule, Captain. Never take off your helmet until you know the air won't kill you." Murmurs rippled through the alien dignitaries. One feathered diplomat raised a crest in alarm, another whispered in sharp clicks. Varix's ridges pulsed faint orange, the Drexari sign of irritation. "This is a Concord flagship," Varix snapped. "Its systems have been refined over centuries. The air you breathe has been cycled through purifiers more advanced than your entire planet's history. You insult us with this performance." Behind Rylan, Lieutenant Daria Hale chuckled over the squad comms. "Performance? That's a new one." Rylan ignored her. "Captain, where I come from, safety systems fail. Filters crack, valves leak, and someone's always sure it's fine, until it isn't. We don't gamble with lungs. We wait until we're sure." "Primitive superstition," Varix hissed. "Remove them. Now." Rylan tilted his head slightly, visor reflecting the alien's refracted glow. "With respect, sir, no." The bay went silent. Even the hum of docking clamps seemed to fade. Alien disdain. The dignitaries began whispering louder, disdain dripping from every syllable. "Humans and their armor fetishes. Always hiding, always distrusting. Do they expect poison in every breath?" Varix's mandibles clicked. "You embarrass this mission. Concord protocols demand open presence. Transparency. Unity. How can there be unity if you cower behind glass?" Rylan's voice was steady, but there was steel under it. "We don't cower. We remember. My world taught us that the moment you get comfortable is the moment you're dead. I'll follow Concord law, Captain, but not at the expense of my squad's survival." Varix's crystalline skin flushed brighter, bordering red. "You tread dangerously close to insubordination. Or dangerously close to common sense," Hale muttered. Rylan raised a gloved hand, silencing her. "Captain, my team isn't here to offend your guests. We're here to protect them. That's our mission. And we'll do it our way." The warning signs. The tension stretched taut until one of the docking engineers stepped forward. His translucent skin glowed faint blue, showing veins twitching nervously beneath. "Captain," he said softly, "there was a minor anomaly during cargo transfer. A containment alarm flickered in Bay 3, but systems corrected it." Varix's ridges pulsed angrily. "Why was I not informed?" "It resolved instantly. Likely a glitch." Rylan's visor turned toward the engineer. "What kind of containment?" The engineer hesitated. "Atmospheric. But sensors reset." Rylan exchanged a glance with Hale. Her jaw tightened behind her visor. Varix waved the matter away. "A trivial error. Not worthy of your fixation." Rylan's tone sharpened. "Every system failure is worth fixation." The captain stiffened, crystalline armor shifting like glass under stress. "Commander, you will remove your helmet before addressing any further dignitaries, or I will file formal complaint with Concord Council." "Understood," Rylan said. He didn't move. Quiet conversations. Later, away from the gathered crowd, Rylan's squad assembled in a side corridor, helmets still sealed. The air smelled faintly of fruit and ozone, engineered perfection. To the humans, it smelled like chemicals trying too hard. Hale muttered, "Guy would rather die polite than live cautious." Sergeant Malik snorted. "Noticed how fast he ignored the alarm? If that happened on Earth, we'd have the whole deck on lockdown by now." Rylan leaned against the bulkhead, arms crossed. "They think we're paranoid. Let them. But stay sharp. If something's in the air, they'll be the first to drop. We won't." The squad nodded. No further words needed. It was the old human creed: trust gear, not promises. Cultural clash. That evening, at the formal reception, the tension simmered. Aliens in flowing silks and glimmering exoshells mingled, sipping glowing liquids from crystalline flutes. Humans stood near the walls, armored and faceless. A reptilian dignitary approached Rylan, curiosity in his slitted eyes. "Why do your kind persist in this charade?" He gestured at the helmet. "Do you not trust the Concord?" Rylan studied him for a moment. "It's not about trust. It's about history. We've seen what happens when people say don't worry, it's safe. It rarely ends well." The dignitary hissed a laugh. "You live as if death waits in every shadow." Rylan's voice was quiet. "Because it does." The alien's smile faltered. He drifted away. Foreshadowing. Hours later, the ship sailed into deep transit. Music still played in the grand hall, lights shimmered across crystalline walls, and dignitaries laughed. But in the cargo hold, Bay 3's containment systems flickered again, just a fraction of a second. Enough to let a faint mist seep into the air ducts, unnoticed by any but the silent machines. Rylan, on patrol above, paused. His suit HUD pinged, an atmospheric variance so small it might have been static. He frowned, logged it, and kept moving. Behind his sealed visor, he muttered to himself. "Glitch, huh? We'll see." The first collapse happened during dinner. The hall buzzed with conversation, alien voices rising in 100 tones as crystalline chandeliers bathed the chamber in pale gold. Rylan stood with his squad along the walls, armored silhouettes among flowing silks and shimmering scales. Then a Zari dignitary faltered mid-sentence, hand clawing at his throat. His feathers puffed violently, eyes rolling back. A glass slipped from his fingers, shattering on the floor. Gasps rippled through the crowd. "Medic!" someone shouted. Two more aliens stumbled almost instantly, clutching at their chests. Panic spread like fire in dry brush. The music stopped. Rylan's HUD spiked a warning: microscopic particulates in the air. Not lethal through filters, but sharp, invasive. His pulse quickened. "Hail," he said over comms. "Mask integrity check." "Green across the board," she confirmed. Rylan's gaze swept the hall. Dozens were coughing now, eyes watering, bodies twitching. But his squad stood motionless, helmets sealed. He tapped into ship-wide comms. "Captain Varix. We've got airborne contamination. Quarantine this deck." The captain's voice thundered back, strained but defiant. "Nonsense! The systems are flawless. You will not." Another alien collapsed near him, spasming against the polished floor. Varix's tone wavered. "Containment breach? Impossible." "Not impossible," Rylan snapped. "It's happening. Now lock it down." Rising chaos. Alarms shrieked. Seals clamped over doors, too late to stop the spread. The dignitaries screamed, rushing in all directions. Guards stumbled, dropping weapons as they coughed blood. Rylan activated external speakers. "Stay calm. Sit down and don't run. My team will contain this." Few listened. Panic had its claws in them. Hale's rifle barked once into the ceiling, the sharp crack echoing through the chaos. Silence rippled out. Rylan stepped forward, voice cutting through the frightened stillness. "You move, you spread it. You stay, you live." Dozens of alien eyes, wide and fearful, fixed on the faceless human in black armor. The invisible enemy. The ship's systems blared reports of atmospheric inconsistencies. Engineers shouted over comms, contradicting each other. The AI insisted purity was within tolerance. But Rylan's HUD told another story, particulate counts climbing. Bioagent, he muttered. Designed to slip past their systems. Hale scanned her display. Targets? Not yet. But someone wanted this ship crippled. The first wave of guards began to convulse, their veins glowing faint blue under skin. They turned glassy-eyed, staggering upright with unnatural stiffness. Rylan raised his rifle. Contact! The nearest infected guard snarled, lunging at a diplomat. A shot cracked. The body dropped. The hall erupted. Taking command. Squad, form perimeter! Rylan barked. His team moved instantly, corralling uninfected behind a barricade of tables flipped on their sides. Aliens wailed. You can't shoot crew! Rylan's voice was iron. They're not crew anymore. Infected surged, jerking forward with violent spasms. Bullets cut them down, each impact final. Plasma bolts from panicked aliens only made things worse. The fallen twitched, glowing veins knitting faster. Energy makes them stronger, Rylan shouted. Ballistics only. One scientist stared at him in horror. How do you know this? Rylan ejected a spent mag. Because we've seen it before. Clash with Varix. Varix stormed into the barricade zone, mandibles flared wide. Commander Cross! You overstep, shooting Concord crew, ordering my guards, this is treason! Rylan grabbed him by the arm, dragging him down just as an infected hurled itself over the barricade. Hale dropped it midair with a burst to the skull. Rylan shoved Varix back. Still think this is politics? The captain trembled, crystalline ridges dimming. His gaze darted to the fallen guard's body, still twitching faintly on the floor. This cannot be, he whispered. It is, Rylan snapped. You wanted transparency and etiquette. You got sabotage. Now either let me run this, or watch your ship burn. For the first time, Varix had no retort. Infiltrators. The hall doors groaned, metal shrieking as something cut through from outside. Sparks cascaded. The barricaded aliens shrank back in terror. Hale steadied her rifle. Not infected. Too precise. The doors crashed inward. Figures in sleek armor poured through, rifles raised, Drexari infiltrators, faces masked, movements disciplined. Targets confirmed, Rylan said coldly. The firefight erupted, deafening in the confined space. Bullets slammed into Drexari armor, sparks flying. Return fire hissed past, scorching table barricades. Rylan vaulted over cover, laying down suppressing fire. Hale flanked left, cutting down two infiltrators with precision bursts. A Drexari advanced, weapon aimed at cowering diplomats. Rylan's shot took him through the visor, dropping him instantly. The dignitaries stared, stunned into silence. The turning tide. Within minutes, the hall floor was littered with bodies, infected, infiltrators, and unlucky civilians alike. Smoke curled upward, lights flickered. Rylan's comm crackled. Engineering to Commander Cross! They're trying to breach the bridge! He cursed. That was the prize. If the infiltrators seized the bridge, the ship was theirs. He turned to Varix, who stood pale and shaking. Your crew's dying. Your systems are blind. You wanted me to remove my helmet? Without it, I'd be choking on the floor right now. And so would every human here. We're the only ones who can finish this. Varix stared at him, mandibles trembling. If I yield, the Council will demand answers. They'll demand survivors. Rylan shot back. Make a choice. For a long moment, silence. Then Varix lowered his gaze. Do what you must. Toward the bridge. Rylan signaled his squad. We move. Secure the bridge. Contain the leak. The surviving aliens clutched one another, fear etched on their faces. None tried to follow. As the humans advanced down the corridor, rifles ready, Hale muttered. So much for transparency. Rylan's visor reflected the flashing red alarms as he spoke, voice grim. They'll understand soon enough. The galaxy always does, after it bleeds. The ship shook violently as another explosion rocked the decks. Smoke billowed from ventilation shafts. Somewhere above, the bridge alarms howled. Rylan tightened his grip on his rifle, helmet HUD pulsing warnings across his vision. Move fast, he said. The air's not the only thing turning against us. The corridors of the Silver Spire echoed with gunfire. Rylan's squad pushed forward, boots pounding against alloy floors slick with smoke residue. Alarms wailed in every direction, red strobes bathing the ship in a pulsing glow. Behind sealed visors, their breathing stayed steady, filtered, safe, detached from the chaos clawing at the air. Ahead, the bridge bulkhead shuddered under impacts. Sparks rained as Drexari infiltrators cut through with precision charges. The enemy wasn't panicked infected. They were trained soldiers, executing a takeover under cover of the bioagent. Rylan raised a fist. The squad halted, rifles raised. Hale crouched low, peering through her visor at the glowing breach. They're inside in under a minute, she murmured. Not if we hit them first, Rylan said. The push. The breach flared, metal bursting outward. Drexari poured through in formation, weapons hot. Now! Rylan barked. The humans surged forward. Ballistic fire roared, deafening in the confined hall. Bullets tore through Drexari armor, punching holes where plasma would have glanced off. The infiltrators reeled, unused to the raw brutality of slug throwers. Hale slid into cover, dropping two with precision bursts. Malik charged ahead, shotgun booming, sending one Drexari flying backward. The corridor became a storm of noise and blood. Sparks danced, armor splintered, and bodies collapsed in heaps. One infiltrator flanked right, rifle trained on Rylan. He turned too late, until Hale's shot drilled clean through the visor, dropping the enemy mid-stride. Rylan nodded once. Good shot. Better you owe me a drink, Hale muttered. Breach of the bridge. The last infiltrator fell, smoking armor collapsing against the wall. Silence pressed in, broken only by alarms and the hiss of venting air. Rylan stepped to the bridge hatch. His gauntlet scanned the lock, security override dead. The Drexari had looped control. Manual breach, he ordered. Explosive shaped and set, the squad cleared back. The blast ripped the hatch wide, smoke pouring out. They moved in fast. The bridge was chaos, consoles sparking, air tasting of chemical bite even through filters. Alien officers lay slumped across their stations, some twitching faintly, others already gone. At the center, 3 Drexari still stood, weapons raised, one pressing a jagged blade against the throat of the comms officer. Rylan's rifle aimed instantly. Drop it! The leader's voice rasped through his mask. Too late, human! The ship dies with us. He pressed a button on his gauntlet. Systems wailed, auto-destruct primed. The fight for control. The squad opened fire. The hostage ducked, shrieking. Bullets slammed into Drexari armor, tearing chunks free. The leader staggered but stayed upright, blade still ready. Rylan closed the distance fast, slamming into him with the weight of his exosuit. The blade screeched across his helmet visor, sparks showering. The toxin edge smeared against the glass but couldn't penetrate. The Drexari snarled, driving the blade again and again into the visor, each strike useless. Rylan pinned his arm, twisted hard, and felt bones snap. My turn, Rylan growled. He drove his fist into the alien's chest plate, caving it inward. The leader collapsed, choking. Rylan turned to the console. Hale, lock that countdown! She sprinted forward, gauntlets flying over controls. Override buried, give me 30 seconds. You've got 15. The seconds stretched. Infected bodies pounded faintly against sealed doors outside, drawn by the sound of battle. Smoke thickened. Aliens who had survived stared wide-eyed at the armored humans fighting as if the void itself was watching. Finally, Hale slapped the console. Detonation cancelled. Rylan exhaled once. Bridge secure. Aftermath. Hours later, the fighting subsided. Fire crews swept through blackened decks, pulling survivors from collapsed halls. Engineers worked furiously to purge the air systems. The humans stood apart, suits scratched, visors cracked, but untouched by the bioagent. Around them, aliens coughed weakly, eyes bloodshot, skin pale. Governor Varix arrived, his crystalline ridges dim with exhaustion. He surveyed the bridge, dead officers, smoldering consoles, Drexari corpses piled in corners. His gaze landed on Rylan. "You disobeyed protocol," he said quietly. Rylan met his eyes through the cracked visor. "And because of that, you still have a ship." Varix hesitated. His mandibles clicked, but no words came. At last, he exhaled a low hum of resignation. "Your instincts saved us. But they terrify the others. They whisper already that humans are too dangerous to walk among them, masked, faceless, unreadable." Hale muttered. "They're alive, aren't they?" Varix ignored her, focusing only on Rylan. "The Council will respond. They will forbid your kind from boarding ships helmeted. They will call it etiquette. In truth, it will be fear." Rylan removed his helmet slowly, the hiss of seals loud in the broken bridge. His scarred face was calm, but his eyes carried the weight of wars and plagues no alien could imagine. "Fear's not new to us, Captain," he said softly. "We've lived with it since the first time fire burned us. What matters is, we lived." Closing. The official decree came days later. No human may board a Concord vessel with helmets sealed. It passed unanimously, cloaked in rhetoric about unity and trust. But every species aboard the Silver Spire remembered the truth. They remembered the armored figures who stood unbroken when the air itself turned against them. They remembered the helmets that never came off, the faceless survivors who fought like the void could never touch them. In time, the rule became legend. Whispers passed through ports and stations alike: never let a human board with the helmet on. If they keep it sealed, it means something is already wrong. Rylan heard those whispers as he walked down alien docks in the weeks after, helmet under one arm, scars on full display. The looks he received were no longer disdain. They were caution. Respect. Hale fell in beside him, voice dry as always. "Funny, isn't it? Save their lives once, and suddenly they make a law about how scary we are." Rylan's lips twitched into the faintest smile. "Figures. Galaxy doesn't know whether to thank us or ban us. So it does both." The two humans kept walking, boots echoing in silence, while behind them a galaxy reeled, forever changed by one simple lesson. When the air turned against them, only humans had been ready.